Hello, adventurers! My name is Chance. Welcome to my spellbook, and thank you so much for tuning into the 81st episode of our Feat series. Man, what a journey. If you don't know, this is the last video, and if you're watching this much further into the future, we did a lot of videos in like a really short span of time. I think we did close to 50 odd videos in the span of about a week or so. So yeah, needless to say, it's a pretty big triumph. Not gonna lie, really proud. Now I have over 100 race videos to do, and I'm looking forward to them. Not gonna lie, it'll be a nice change of pace for the channel. They're a little bit more longer and take a little bit more work, but whatever. I think they're more worth it in the long run anyways. In any case, today we're talking about Telepathic, which a lot like telekinetic has a weird history in 5e. So this is technically the third version of it that was released. The first version was really rough. The second, they tried to put a psionic spin on it, but there's not really too much different between the second version and this current version. As soon as you get past all that psionic stuff, they're pretty similar. In any case, before we dive into its description, if you'd like to check out the full Feat playlist in its entirety, you can click on that little eye icon up above there, or watch until the end of the video and click on the relevant end screen. In any case, let's move on to its description. Right off of the bat, you get +1 to intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. Make a small note of that because it will factor in later. You can speak telepathically to any creature you can see within 60 feet of you. Your telepathic utterances are in a language you know, and the creature understands you only if they know that language. So it is a little different than normal telepathy. Your communication doesn't give the creature the ability to respond to you telepathically. So you can speak into their head, but you can't read their thoughts, which is important, at least for that first half. The second half is a little different. You can cast the Detect Thoughts spell, requiring no spell slot or components, and you must finish a long rest before you can cast it this way again. Your spellcasting ability for the spell is the ability increased by this feat. If you have a spell slots of 2nd level or higher, you can cast a spell with them. So this is really interesting. It's not true telepathy in the way that you can read their mind, they can read yours. It's like pseudo-telepathy, where you can implant your voice into their head and talk to them, but they can't respond in kind. You can likely use a Detect Thought spell to gauge the reaction, and that's why I feel like this is in here. However, you can only do that once per long rest without burning spell slots, and I mean, whether or not it's worth it, yeah, probably circumstantially based. However, if you have something like the actor feat, I would make it notable that you could likely make it sound like they're talking to themselves. And as a quick side note, the duration for the Detect Thought spell is a minute. However, I don't know. It is one of those weird things where you have to be within 30 feet, and if it doesn't speak a language, it's unaffected. I don't know. It is really weird. We have a full video on it, so be sure to check that out. But without further ado, and as far as it pertains to this feat, let's just go over the walkthrough really quick here. So, just to simplify everything, +1 to intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. While you're within 60 feet, you can telepathically communicate with the creature within range. There are some caveats to that, like they have to be able to understand the language you're speaking to them, so it's not universal. In addition to that, they can't respond back to you, but as long as they're within 60 feet, you can talk to them, which is nice. And then once per long rest, you can cast Detect Thoughts without any components or spell slots. So, really nice stuff. Once again, once per long rest, it does last for a minute. It is concentration. Check out the full video on that so you understand how it works. And your modifier for that spell is whatever you picked to initially increase from your ability scores. So when you choose intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, that's what you use. Now let's get on to my personal thoughts. So the mileage you're gonna get out of this feat is gonna vary hugely. By that, what I mean is there's not a whole lot here that is applicable to combat or the exploration pillar. Almost all of this is focused on social interaction. I understand communicating telepathically puts you in a good position when it comes to planning things out, and is a good way to explain away a small amount of metagaming within the game itself. That being said, a lot of groups just do that anyways, and I tend to crack down on it as a DM, but not a lot of DMs do. So the telepathy isn't super useful there. That's also compounded by the fact that it's one way, and it has to be in a language both you and the creature you're communicating know. So that kind of eliminates a lot of the usefulness it had in previous iterations. In addition to that, the Detect Thought spell is cool, but it's really only useful in social situations or during exposition or when you're interrogating someone. It's not really useful in combat to any meaningful capacity. In addition to that, it's not even used in exploration for the most part. I can't even think of a way you would be able to use it in exploration. That being said, if you find yourself in a campaign where it's a very political, there's a lot of mysteries going on, everyone may or may not be lying to you, and you're kind of backed up against the wall and you have no way of knowing for sure, then this feat would be super useful. In addition to that, if you're a character that finds really isn't pulling its weight in anything other than combat and you'd like to change that for whatever reason, this would be a good feat to go with. And if you have the actor feat or some class ability that gives you something similar, there's a lot of really cool roleplay opportunities you could run with this. However, that would require your DM's approval by raw. It doesn't say you can do that outright, so you kind of have to infer. However, I would allow it in my games. I feel like a lot of dungeon masters would respect that kind of creativity, so it's relatively safe to assume it would be allowable. That being said, however, once again, is it super useful? Is it worth sacrificing your ability score improvement? Is it better than a lot of the other feats we've gone over? I want to say probably not. However, I might be missing something small. You do get a pretty good +1 to whatever your spellcasting modifier is, so it might be worth it just for that. However, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on it. Let me know what you think down beneath in the comments section. Mention any thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns you have regarding Telepathic, as well as any cool build ideas or anything that you might disagree with me on. That being said, if you'd like a free one-shot as well, feel free to check out the Guildhall, use code WELCOME, and it's all yours. And as always, guys, have a great day and happy adventuring. As a quick side note as well, we are going to be getting into the races really soon here. I might take like a day off and rest my voice. It's getting kind of raspy if you can't tell. And get back into it after that. Or I might work tomorrow and then take Sunday off. I don't know, it kind of depends. That being said, so the races are next. This is the last of the feats. We've covered all the feats in 5e now. When they add more, we'll update the playlist. But currently, this is where 5e stands. That being said, yeah, let me know what your favorite race is. I'll probably take it into consideration when I'm going through the videos. I missed a couple of the Dragonborn, so I gotta go back and do them. I don't know how it slipped my mind, but it did. I think it was because D&D didn't, or D&D Beyond didn't have them up yet, so I'll go back and do that, and then maybe continue with the Dwarf, or finish the Dwarf first, and then go back to the Dragonborn. I don't know. There's a couple different ways I can do it. That being said, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Be sure to check out the full playlist. And yeah, have a great day, everyone. Talk to you soon. Happy adventuring, all that good stuff.